Hi, everyone. My name is Keona Henderson. We have our webinar tonight, Amplify Your Passion. I just wanted to notify everybody before I start the webinar officially that everyone is on mute. Please keep your phones on mute or your computers on mute. I'll answer any questions that you may have at the end, and we'll just go from there. I will do a short Q&A at the end. I'm going to try and make sure there's time. This webinar should take about 30 to 40 minutes. So just remember to keep your phones and computers on mute so that we don't have any static or background noise. But other than that, thank you for joining us. So my name is Keona Henderson, and I'm a motivational speaker, author, and realtor. I'm also the CEO and founder of Positive Women Meetup, LLC. So many of you probably found out about this webinar through Instagram, Facebook, or maybe you're on our mailing list. You've been a long time P-Dub. We call all of our followers, our event attendees, P-Dubs, which means Positive Women. I've been doing this for going on 9 years now. It's been a long time. So you found out from one of those avenues, or maybe you know me personally and I was talking to you about it, so you decided to sign up. Whatever way you found out, thank you very, very much. So Positive Women Meetup LLC is an empowerment and professional development platform for women and youth. This webinar, titled Amplify Your Passion, is a webinar specifically for women entrepreneurs and creatives. And so that's a large umbrella. But I believe it captures everybody. So whether you have a goal of starting a blog, finding out more about branding or marketing, writing your book or finishing your manuscript, launching a business, launching an event, writing poetry for a magazine. This is just going to give you some basic tips on how you can start, how you can amplify your passion, and some things you need to know along the way. So if you join this webinar, you may be experiencing the following. Maybe you have a lack of inspiration. Maybe you're experiencing imposter syndrome or self-limiting beliefs. Do your dreams and goals scare you? Do your dreams and goals seem far-fetched? Are you thinking about starting that blog and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to start. How am I going to get sponsors? I don't even know how to build a web page. That's, one of the biggest things that stops us from amplifying our passion or going after our goals, because we don't have the inspiration. We have the goal, we want to do it, but we don't know how we're going to do it. So it kind of sets us behind, or we don't have that spark, that excitement, that go-getter attitude that pushes us or catapults us forward into launching that passion project. Maybe lack of resources. You know what your passion project or goal is, but you are not sure how to achieve it. You don't know where to start. Where do I get a web domain from? Do I need to get it certified? Where do I get a mailing list or a landing page from? How do I start the blog? Who's going to design the blog? Do I need to know how to design, or can I hire somebody? Do I have enough money to hire somebody? Do I even know someone who designs? All of these questions go through our head, and they stop us from bringing our passion project or goal from concept to completion. Or you may just have lack of clarity or direction. Maybe you're not sure what you're passionate about or where to start, right? So, hey, I know there's something out there for me, but I don't know what it is. Maybe by day, if you're like me, at one point in my life, I was a security guard and I had goals, but I wasn't clear on how I was going to get to them goals, right? So being a security guard is a long way from being a motivational speaker, the owner of a small business, an author, and a realtor, right? I didn't have clarity on how I was going to take my goals from concept, from the idea in my head, to completing them, right? So the one thing that I want you all to know is, in order to bring your passion project or goal from concept to completion, you need to first amplify it. Amplify is a verb. I'm sure that we're all familiar with what amplify means, but in case you aren't, I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Amplify means to increase the volume of sound, okay, or something. Cause to become marked or intense. It means to enlarge upon or add detail to. So whatever your passion project or goal is, whatever it is, you're going to amplify it starting today. So if that means that if you want to write a book, if that means that you're going to go get a journal from Ross and start writing down your ideas for that book or that manuscript, that means that you need to start doing that today. You need to make it bigger. You have to embark on that journey so that you will reach success. You can't just think about it in your head every day and say, oh, I want to write this book. I want to start this blog. I want to finish this poem. I want to be a published author. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to be a business owner. And the only thing that you ever do every day is think about it. You're not amplifying it. You're packing it away. You're making it smaller and smaller. It's getting lower on your to-do list. You're running from it. So what I'm going to ask of all of you today is to amplify your passion. Make it big, make it intense. Add detail to it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Add specifics. If you need to write a business plan because you want to start a business, write your business plan. Get to it. You know, in this hysteria that we have going on right now, a lot of us have more time than we expected to have in March, right? So use that time to maximize and amplify your passion. So I am a huge, huge fan of just starting. It sounds crazy to some, but take it from a person who worries a lot. I worry a lot, you all. A person who always prepares so that things turn out right. I need to plan from A to Z. I need to know what the plan B is if the plan A doesn't work. I need to know what the plan C is if the plan B doesn't work, right? That's me personally. A person who's very organized. All right, so as you can see, I have this presentation set up. I know what my next slide is. I'm like that in business. I know what my goals are for my business this year. I know what my goals are for being a motivational speaker this year. I know what my goals are as an author this year. I know what my goals are in my servant leadership roles, and I'm knocking them down, right? Sometimes you have to kind of recalibrate, but you have to know that starting is the first step. So the solution I want to give to you guys is how you're going to be able to maximize your potential, right? Project development. This is one of the key things I said we were going to go over tonight. So no matter what your project is, it can be starting a business. It can be becoming a motivational speaker. It can be launching your blog. It can be launching your business. It can be polishing up on your branding and marketing tips. It could be becoming a real estate agent. Whatever it is, all right? So project development is the process and the facility of planning, organizing, coordinating, and controlling the resources to accomplish specific goals. The process takes a project from concept to completion, okay? From your start to your end. So here are some best practices for you to follow. You can screenshot this, you can write it down, whichever one is gonna help you to amplify your passion, all right? Best practices. Resource. Where can you find resources, tools, supplies, and the appropriate professional advice that can help you, excuse that typo right there, that can help you complete your project or goal? So if your goal is to write a book, what resources do you need? Brainstorm that, write a list. Do you need to speak with someone who's written a book before? Do you need to find out how you're gonna publish it? Do you need to find out how to pitch your book to companies, to publishing companies? Are you gonna self-publish? How do you get your ISBN number? Do you know what an ISBN number is? All of these things are topics, subjects that you need to research and find out, right? What tools do you need to write the book? Do you need to write it in a special platform? Does it just get typed up in a Word document, or does it need to be formatted? What content is going to be included in the book? All right. Where can you find resources, tools, supplies, and appropriate professional advice that can help you to complete your project or goal? That's resource, right? Another best practice is brand collateral. This is very important, and this is where I see, that some people kind of lose themselves. This is a topic where it's ever changing as well. So remember that. Develop your brand collateral. Once you find your resources and you're able to pin down what exactly you're going to do, how you're going to achieve that goal, how you're going to start that blog, what web domain you're going to get, what your website name is going to be, all of this good stuff, right? Develop your brand collateral. This is before you launch your project. This is your project's brand or business identity. How do you want your followers, your subscribers, your audience, your target market to view you and identify you? So this is the reason why we can see McDonald's arches miles away, because we know what the McDonald's arches look like, right? So when people see your brand somewhere, online, on a pamphlet, in some literature you give them, they should be able to recognize it off top. Oh, this is Kiona's strategy session, because it has passion to purpose at the top of it. It has the Positive Women Meetup logo at the top of it. They should be able to easily and readily identify your brand. This resonates with people. This makes people feel comfortable when they can easily recognize your brand or business, okay? So start to think about that. How do you want your followers, subscribers, audience, target market to view you and identify you? Brand collateral also means the feeling that you want them to get when they read your blog, when they read your book. Okay, if it's going to be a blog or book or a manuscript, how do you want the person to feel when they read it? What is it going to be about? What topics? All right, and I want to impart a very special I guess, quote or phrase on everyone here on this webinar tonight. I tell my clients often, very often, I ask them rather, who is your target market? And they'll say, oh, everyone. I want to sell to everyone. I want everyone to tune into my blog. I want everybody to read my book. If your project or product is for everyone, then it is for no one. You have to define in detail specifically who your target market is, who your target audience is, and sell to them. If other people that aren't in your target market or aren't in your target audience for subscribers and followers and your audience, okay, if they're not in there, but they happen to read your blog, they happen to buy your book, they happen to buy your product, then that's fine. But you want to speak to a very specific market of people, okay? Remember that. Outsource. All right, outsource. Who do you know? Who do you know that can help you achieve this goal that you have? Do you know someone who already has experience blogging? Do you know someone who can edit your manuscript? Do you know someone who has successfully booked speaking gigs? Do you know someone who has successfully secured sponsorships? Do you know someone who has hosted an event? This may be a friend, it may be a peer, a coworker, or a professional. Maybe you can ask a friend or a cousin or a sister, hey, how did you start your blog and become so successful at it? Can you give me some tips? Yes, maybe they'll give you some tips for free. You might need to go to a professional, someone who does consultation, someone who does coaching, someone who has a company that fits the needs of you, right? And maybe you need to pay for that information, but outsource. Who do you know? Okay. We all of us don't know everything. And a smart person is going to ask someone who does know so that they can get the best outcome possible, right? So want to make sure that you guys are getting all of this information. Make sure you screenshot if you need to. Again, hopefully you join this call because you have dreams and goals you want to achieve or a passion project you want to launch. How are you going to do that? That's what we're talking about tonight in Amplify Your Passion. How are you going to do that? When are you going to do that is the more important question. When are you going to amplify your passion? If you wait days and weeks and months, you're going to be sitting in the same position in 2021 that you're sitting right now, saying, oh, I want to write that book. Oh, I want to write that book so bad. Man, if I wrote this book, it'll be so good. People could be reading my book right now. If you never start writing the book, nobody can read it. If you never launch the blog, nobody can read it. If you never put yourself out there as an educational speaker, nobody is ever going to hire you. If you never start that business, then you're never going to be a business owner or entrepreneur. We could think about all these great things for weeks, months, years, but until we actually do it, we're not amplifying our passion. Most of you know, and for those of you who don't, Positive Women Meetup provides free and fee-based webinars. This is a free one, okay, giving you some tips. We also provide consulting services and strategy sessions. I created this webinar specifically for women entrepreneurs and creatives because I want to provide free tips to you. So that's what I'm talking to right now, okay? So we talked about best practices for project development. Now let's talk about clarifying your goals. Before we get to that, look at that picture on the left. That is me, all right? So the card I'm holding up says Black Creative, FYI. So for your information, inclusion, and interest, right? This picture is from the summer of 2019. I was at an FYI event. The creator of this event is my good friend, Janine Daniels. Look her up. Her name is Janine Daniels, okay? Janine spelled with a J. She co-founded Black and Sexy TV. She's the CEO of 927 Entertainment, and she is currently a writer for Snowfall on FX, okay? It's just a little bit about Janine Daniels, okay? Those are her stats. She's my good friend. She wanted to create a private networking event specifically for Black creatives. That's why I'm holding that sign. I'm a Black creative. Since the event started over a year ago, so she called me up one day. She knows that this is my expertise. I help people to amplify their passion. I provide strategy sessions and consulting. She called me up and was like, hey, I need a strategy session. This is what I'd like to do. I want to start this private networking event for specifically for Black creatives. I don't know what it looks like. Really don't know what I'm doing. I thought somebody else would do it. I said it to a couple people hoping they would get it together, but nobody's getting it together. I feel like we need it. I need your help. Cool. I was on board. So since it started a year ago, this event has sold out every single time, okay? This event has sold out from inception. Over the course of 3 events we've had over 750 attendees. That's 3 events, y'all. 750 attendees total and $3,000 in sponsorships. I'm the current lead coordinator for this event, and I helped her to clarify her goals, secure sponsors, and amplify her passion. So this is what you need to know. If you want to clarify your goals, what problem are you solving? That's the most important question you should be asking yourself. By clarifying your goals, you need to ask yourself the hard questions. What problem are you solving? Consider what needs your target audience has, how they view the world, and how you can help. So for example, if you're going to be starting a business, if you're going to be starting a blog, if you're going to be reading a book, okay, you need to know what problem you're solving. That's going to help you answer who your target market is, who your audience is. In order to clarify your passion, you must consider, what problem are you solving? Your project, goal, or business won't be successful if you can't specifically answer this question. Knowing the answer to this question will make every decision for your project, goal, or business easier. Here's the breakdown of how to clarify your goals, right? What is your company's solution? And this can be your solution, your brand or business's solution, your company's solution, right? Fill in the blank. If you're writing a book, what problem is your book solving? Are you speaking to young mothers? Are you speaking to young entrepreneurs? Are you speaking to the elderly who have retired and need something to do with their time? Are you speaking to the poet? Are you speaking to, people who want to write their first script? Who are you speaking to? If you're blogging, who are you talking to? Are you talking to therapists? Are you blogging for accountants? Are you blogging for entrepreneurs? Are you blogging for daycare centers and owners? Are you blogging for teachers? Are you blogging for servant leadership? Are you blogging for volunteers? Are you blogging for higher education? Who are you blogging for? What problem are you solving? What is your blog solution to that problem? What are you providing in that blog, that book, that manuscript, that product that you're offering people? What value do you bring to your clients, your subscribers, your followers, your readers, your audience? Okay. What services do you offer? All right. Third, how will you make money? Now, I know a lot of us, we have a passion project and we may say, oh, you know what? I just love to do this. This is my passion. I don't even need to get paid for it. That's how I was when I first started Positive Women Meetup. But I'm going to tell you all this. Listen carefully. If you're good at something, never do it for free. Did you catch that? I know you're on mute, but I'm going to say it again. If you do something well, if you do something good, if you're good at something, if you're talented at something, if you're gifted at something, never do it for free. So you should think about this. How will you make money? And it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be sewing quilts. You could be sewing blankets. You could be creating hats. You could be creating stationery. You could be a speaker. You could be a blogger. How will you make money doing that? If you're spending your time doing it and you're good at it, make money from it. How will you make money? The better your business fits the needs, perspectives, and desires of your target audience, the greater your odds of being successful. The greater your odds are of making money. If your business, if your passion project doesn't solve a problem, nobody's going to give you money for it. If you're starting a blog and you can't identify your target audience, who you're talking to, companies are not going to sponsor your blog. Because they want to know, okay, who's your audience? Does it fit with our audience? Who do you have following your blog? Because we want some of those same people, but you have to know who those people are. If you're selling a product, they need to know who your followers are, right? You need to know who your followers are. If you're selling tummy tea, who is following you? Who is buying the tummy tea, right? Is it 18 to 25-year-olds? Is it 35-year-olds to 45-year-olds that have 2 children or more? Who is your target audience, right? So, hold on, let me go back. How will you make money? Determine the baseline costs and services for each. So if you are going to write a book, you need to know how much it's going to cost you to get the graphics for the book, to publish the book. Are you self-publishing? Are you pitching to companies? How much is it going to cost you to send your manuscript out to companies to see if they want to publish your book? If you're self-publishing, how much does that cost? On what platform? How much is your ISBN number? How much is your copyright? All right. So think about those things and determine what your baseline costs are so that you have the idea, right? Because when you start to make money, you got to keep track of all of those expenses, right? Okay. And we could talk about this more in depth. Don't worry. I'm going to give you guys my contact information when we're done. All right. So we're moving on here. We're making good time. We're moving on to securing sponsorships. Yes, that is another picture of me. That's back from an event. I believe it was a Positive Women Meetup event back in, I believe it was 2017 or 18. I'm looking at how short my locks were then, but one of the sponsorships that I was able to secure was from Dry Soda. So you can Google them when we get off the line, but Dry Soda was one of my sponsors. They actually ended up sponsoring the whole year's worth of events that we had. So this is one of my favorite subjects, securing sponsorships, one of my favorite subjects to discuss. Since I founded Positive Women Meetup, I have hosted over 25 plus women empowerment and professional development events through Positive Women Meetup. I've secured 40 plus sponsors. And in one 3-year period, I sold out every event that I hosted. Okay. That's pretty big. That's pretty dope. 1 3-year period. Okay. 3 years, for 3 years straight, every event I hosted, I sold it out. How did I do that? I did that by leveraging sponsorship as a tool for my passion project. So my passion project, when I first started Positive Women Meetup, it wasn't an LLC, it wasn't a company, it was just a passion project. I wanted to get women together to network and collaborate with each other. That's it. My very first Positive Women Meetup was a meetup at the movies. It wasn't to get money. I wasn't selling tickets. I wasn't doing professional development. I didn't even know what I was doing was empowerment at the time. I just wanted to get women together to collaborate with each other, to mentor each other, to build friendships, to network with each other. Okay? So let's dive in. How did I leverage sponsorship? This is how you can do that too. Securing sponsorship is a type of partnership, right? So through sponsorship, you can leverage the power of collective credibility, grow fast, and reach quality audiences. What is collective credibility? Collective credibility is partnering with established brands to help your audience or new supporters see you and your business as credible. Excuse the typos, as credible, right? So partnering with established brands. Sponsors offer funding or products and services to support events, trade shows, teams, nonprofits, or organizations. Sponsors offer funding or products, okay, and services to support events, trade shows, teams, and nonprofits and organizations, right? So how do you secure sponsorship? Now, I want to make sure that something is clear. When you secure sponsorship, it's a type of partnership. This is not you joining 2 businesses or brands together, but it can and it should be mutually beneficial. All right. So just because you partner, quote unquote, with this other brand does not mean that now you all have to do everything together. It does not mean that now your brand is a part of their brand. But it does need to be mutually beneficial between you both. Okay. So how do you secure sponsors? By perfecting your pitch. And here are some tips for you. What kind of things are they interested in? So you need to know and understand and consider the person that you're pitching to. You need to understand their views of the world and how they run their business. Keep this in mind while developing your pitch. So before you even reach out to them, if you're going to reach out to, let's see, what's a brand? If you're going to reach out to, I'm looking around my office here, a hair care company like Shea Moisture. Let's say you're reaching out to Shea Moisture and you want to partner with them. You want them to become a sponsor of your blog. You want them to become a sponsor of your event, something like that. You need to understand how Shea Moisture views the world. You know, what's going on with their company right now? What's going on in the world right now? What do they need right now? Were they in a recent media debacle? Were they being targeted, you know, in some kind of media campaign? Oh, you know what? A better example would actually be Honey Pot. So Honey Pot recently, I don't know if you all know, but they were in the news because the owner of Honey Pot made a statement. And from what I understand, her statement was misinterpreted. And she was like, a whole smear campaign happened on social media and in the news. It ended up being very good for her because Honey Pot ended up flying off the shelves. Okay. And for those of you who don't know, Honey Pot is a product line is a feminine product line, a personal feminine hygiene product line, right? I actually love Honey Pot. I use their products, and now I'm kind of upset because I can't get the products because now it's popular since this whole media debacle. But so you would need to determine if you wanted Honey Pot to be a sponsor for your blog or your event, right? How can you position yourselves and your event as being something beneficial to Honey Pot? All right. If they had let's say it turned out bad and her stuff wasn't flying off the shelves. Okay. Products from Honey Pot were not flying off the shelves. Whatever she said in the media totally went sour and their sales took a dive. You could probably offer a positive spin on things. Let her know, hey, our target market matches. Since I have the attendees at my event are your specific target market. I'd like to help you to rebrand, reposition, pivot your brand so that you're now seen in a more positive light. I personally use your products and I want to introduce them to the attendees at my event. At my event, I can personally speak to how your products have helped me, how I love your products, why I love your products, and this will help them to, achieve a more positive light amongst their target market, right? So if you can articulate that, you'll have to be more specific than what I just gave. But if you can openly articulate that and show proof of who your target market is and the influence you have over your target market, okay, then you could probably secure that sponsorship. Also, what value would your project or idea bring to the company? Again, it needs to be mutually beneficial. You need to understand how many unsolicited pitches or requests to pitch that these companies receive. These companies are getting asked by everyone to sponsor their event, to buy product or monetary sponsorship, right? Why is your pitch different? What makes you stand out? The number one thing is your pitch should be mutually beneficial. Why should the person believe in your idea, your blog, your event, your book, your project? Why should they believe in it? And why should they believe you that you are going to, take the money that they sponsor your event with and use it for what? Why should they believe that you're going to take the product that they sponsor your event or your blog or book or project with and use it for what, right? Lastly, the better your pitch fits their needs, perspectives, and desires, the greater your odds of being successful, listened to, and believed in, okay? So you need to do your research to perfect your pitch. You have to do your research to perfect your pitch because you will need to be able to answer all of these questions in order to have a better chance of getting your sponsorship secured the first time around. I like to tell my clients that you should answer all the questions that the potential sponsor may have in your first email. It should be concise, but to the point so that they can easily make a decision because they're receiving hundreds, thousands, if not millions of emails with people asking for different things. Okay. They probably have a department for it specifically. How are you going to get through the red tape? How are you going to get to the person that's going to say yes? Okay, again, securing a sponsorship is a type of partnership. You're not joining two businesses or brands together, but it can and should be mutually beneficial. Okay. So now let's talk speaker development. Again, that's another picture of me because this is what I do, y'all. So this is at my Birth Your Vision workshop that I hosted last year. I'll probably be hosting another one, but this is a workshop that my company does to help women and youth entrepreneurs or creatives to birth their vision, to amplify their passion, to start their business or passion project, to launch it. In this event, we cover sole proprietorship, LLC, corporations, nonprofits, what they are. We cover a little bit of tax information. We provide a template for a business plan, and we go through key components of the business plan so that when you leave, basically, you can launch your business. We also talk about content creation, timelines, needs analysis, and things like that. So speaker development. Your delivery communicates your confidence and preparedness to your audience. So speaker development is very important. Now, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning, one of the many hats I wear is motivational speaker. I started public speaking around age 9, and I won first place in a state competition by my senior year in high school. I've been featured at numerous events as a speaker, and I've touched the hearts of thousands. Whether you want to know how to become an effective public speaker for your 9-to-5 job, you just want to be able to get up there in front of your supervisor and your peers and do a presentation, or maybe you want to become a paid speaker. Either way, listen up. All right, so how to become an effective speaker. Among other things, delivery is key. That's what I want you guys to know. Delivery is key, okay? You need to research effectively because effective delivery shows your audience that you have researched your topic and you understand what you are speaking about. I've hosted several events over this 9-year period, okay? At one point in time, Positive Women Meetup was hosting an event every quarter, all right? And we were booking 2 to 3 speakers per event. All right, so we were accepting speaker inquiries and applications, we were reviewing them, and we were choosing who would be the most effective speaker for that event that we were hosting. Now, let me tell you, even with vetting these speakers, when I say vet, I mean, they give us their headshot, they give us their speaker bio, their speaker one sheet, whatever it is, their website, a sample speech, or outline. I still had what you would believe to be the most professional people get up there and try and wing it. They would think, oh, I have experience doing this. I don't need to write an outline. I don't need to write a speech. And they would just get up there and it would be very bad for them because you have to research your topic. You have to know what you're talking about in your presentation. You have to provide efficient information, interesting information that people can take and go back, to whatever they're doing in their life. They could take it with them, take their notes, all right, and be able to like regurgitate that over and over again, study it, and use it in the way that they see most effective in their lives, okay? You have to be able to persuade people to understand and believe what you're saying, all right? And so you won't be able to do that if you don't know what you're talking about, bottom line. The second tip is write your world. And this is what I mean by that. Create content within your realm of expertise. Again, booking speakers. I book speakers for my own events and I book speakers for my clients' events. I can't tell you how many times people will get up there and they will want to talk about things that they have no expertise in. People will get up there, and on the stage and say, oh, well, I have a friend who, and it's not an example or an anecdote, a testimonial. It's just totally them pulling from something that they don't know about. Okay. They'll be tripping over their words. They can't effectively elaborate on the content because it's not their expertise. Do not do that. Write from your world. If you want to be an effective speaker, write from your world. If you are a therapist, an accountant, and a realtor, a teacher, write from what you know. Build content, create content, develop content around what you already know, because for one, it'll be easier. For two, you always want to center yourself as the expert. All right. So if you already know about a topic, if you're already naturally interested in a topic, so you do a lot of research on it anyway, that's what your content needs to be about, your expertise. Research what you already know about, what you're already interested in, and go from there, okay? Your realm of expertise. Next, you want to rehearse and reevaluate. Do not wing it. All right, ladies, do not wing it. Effective delivery relies on verbal and nonverbal communication. Articulate clearly, refrain from using placeholders like things like that. Make eye contact with your audience. I know it's hard. Sometimes, especially if you're not used to public speaking, especially if you get nervous. But if you have any goal or passion surrounded by becoming an effective speaker, these are the things that you need to rehearse and reevaluate. If you get booked for a speaking gig, if you have a presentation coming up at work, if you are a volunteer for a certain organization and you have to do a report out at the meeting, just practice it. Don't wing it. Write your outline, write your content, develop your content, and practice your delivery. One good tip for you, because right now I am a motivational speaker. I'm a professional motivational speaker, which means I get paid to go and speak at workshops, at trainings, at colleges, at universities, companies, nonprofits, churches, wherever people want me to come and speak at on a plethora of the different topics that I cover. I still practice. Even if I'm presenting a presentation that I presented before, I have several popular presentations. I get called to other places because they saw me do my presentation here, but now they want me to come do it for their company, right? So I still practice. One great tip, record yourself. In this day and age, we're all doing 50 million things. We're running around from point A to point B. We may have a break. We may get time for lunch today. We may not, right? When you have a moment, sit down. When you've created your content, you develop your speech or your presentation, all the edits are done. You know what you want to say. You feel like your presentation is good and it's conveying the right information. Record yourself. Turn your phone on to the voice memo and record yourself. You don't have to be in front of anybody. This is the good part about it. You're not in front of anybody. You can be reading off your screen, reading off your paper that you printed out, and just record yourself delivering your presentation or speech in the way that you want to deliver it on stage that day, in the way you want to deliver it in that next meeting, in the way you want to deliver it in that presentation. Your voice inflections, your pauses, when you go louder, right? When you go lower, when you whisper. Okay? All of that. Record it just the way you want to present it. And then afterwards, every day up until your presentation, you want to listen to that recording. You can listen to it in the car, hook it up to your Bluetooth, put it in your earphones. Listen to it while you're doing other things that you may not have been able to practice your speech while doing, right? It's kind of hard to practice your speech while you're driving. You can't look at your paper. It's kind of hard to practice your speech while you're cleaning up the house, wrangling the kids, while you're at work on your break. Maybe, you can't just sit in your office and practice your speech. You have clients waiting for you in the waiting room, right? But what you can do is press play on your recorded speech and listen to it on your breaks. Listen to it while you're cleaning the house. Listen to it while you're driving to the grocery store or to work. Okay? Just a little tip for you. So we're at the end of the webinar now. I am going to be taking questions. I just want to let you all know that these are our official channels for Positive Women Meetup. You can follow us on Facebook at Positive Women Meetup LLC. You can follow us on Instagram at Positive Women Meetup. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Positive Women Meetup LLC. Okay, thank you so very much for joining. I'm going to be taking questions if there are any. I want to let you all know that you can book your Passion and Purpose strategy session with us. All right. So if you have any questions, if you need more details on any of the topics I discussed, I want for you to go ahead and send us an email. In the subject line, put P2P strategy session webinar special, because I do have a special for everyone who joined tonight. If you want to book a strategy session with me, you have a special price. I encourage you to amplify your passion. Positive Women Meetup can help. Each of these topics that we covered tonight in this Amplify Your Passion webinar is an individual workshop that Positive Women Meetup facilitates, okay? These are topics that I provide strategy sessions for. If you're interested in the strategy session for your specific passion project or goal, so if you're like, hey, I want to write a book, hey, I want to launch an event, hey, I want to start a blog, hey, I want to start my business, and you have questions, then you need to book a strategy session. Email us at info@positivewomenmeetup.com. In the subject line, again, you're going to write P2P strategy session webinar special. My operations manager knows that whoever emails with that in the subject line, they're going to get the discount. This is a limited time offer. If you email too late, the offer is going to be gone, and that's just what it is. But we're always here to help no matter when it is. If you decide you need help 3 months from now, that's fine. Just email us. I hope this webinar helped each and every one of you. So thank you for joining tonight. And right now, if you have any questions, you can take yourself off mute. And if not, we'll go ahead and end. Okay, great. So no questions. If you decide you have a question later or you were too shy to ask your question, just email us at info@positivewomenmeetup.com. and we'll make sure to get your question answered. Again, thank you for joining tonight. I hope Amplify Your Passion webinar helped you out, helped you to figure out and clarify some of those goals that you have for 2020. So stay safe out here. Talk to you later.